Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt. On the radio, on podcasts everywhere, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on talklawradio.com. Today we're going to be talking with Ley Wright. She has an organization called Base Buddies, and I'll let you explain everything. I'm so happy to have you.
Hi, I am so excited to be here. My name's Ley. I am a military spouse here in San Antonio. So my experience as a military spouse has been just filled with beautiful moments, filled with isolation and just a little bit of confusion. I feel like people don't necessarily talk about all of the identity shifts in this lifestyle. So you're constantly adapting to new places, new routines, and while it can be exciting, it can also feel really lonely if you don't have the right support system. So I have a podcast. It's called Base Buddies, and it's basically to just shift that narrative and to give support to those military spouses in need of that said support system.
Awesome. Your energy is so powerful. I'm just, I feel better just being in your presence here.
Thank you.
So your spouse is part of Joint Base San Antonio.
Yes, he is. So we've been together for about 5 years. So I've been a military spouse for about 5 years, but we've been together as a whole for 7 years. So I've been part of this lifestyle for a really long time. We got stationed here not too long ago. And so I've met some amazing military spouses through the San Antonio, JBSA Lackland. And also I've met a lot of military spouses all around the world that resonated really well with Base Buddies.
I'm super interested. I did watch the show with Maddie.
You did?
You did. And she was a great guest for you, too.
She was. She is so articulate. She's so knowledgeable in everything, really. She has her own podcast called Details in Hindsight, and her podcast is more of like Big Sister. Big Sister letting you know what to expect.
Okay, got it.
So she was wonderful. She's wonderful.
So some people say that military members, and you told me this applies to spouses too, they're always telling you this is what you signed up for.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
But you say military life has no handbook, so you signed up for something that you don't know the rules to, I guess.
Exactly. So when I say that military life doesn't have a handbook, I literally mean it doesn't have a handbook, because there's this big saying that other civilians tell military spouses when they're going through a hard time. You knew what you signed up for, so you should have known better. And what a lot of people don't necessarily understand is that on paper, yes, we knew that we were getting married to a service member. We knew that we were going to get stationed all around the world. We knew that they would essentially get deployed. We knew that all of these things were happening, but you can't really take the human emotion out of it. And you can't expect other people not to feel a certain way when a situation is happening. Let's just say that my spouse got deployed for 11 months. Nobody would expect me to be okay with that. I would personally I have been personally very, very upset and sad over the situation, even though I understood the situation. If that makes
I
any
understand,
sense.
Right. The emotion's still there, even though you understood factually what was occurring.
Exactly.
That's really interesting. So what finally pushed you to turn that frustration into Base Buddies podcast?
What pushed me to basically start Base Buddies was the isolation aspect of it. I knew and know so many military spouses out there that feel lonely. There's a difference between being alone and feeling lonely. And in my head, I was more of so thinking, why aren't we all coming together as a community and supporting one another? Why is it so hard to make friends? Why is it so hard to just come together in general? And so not a lot of us share our stories, and not a lot of us feel comfortable sharing our stories. And so I wanted to build a platform to where military spouses felt comfortable, seen, and most importantly, understood based on the circumstances that they've been dealt with. I've talked to so many military spouses that were OGs, that their spouses back in 2006, and they've dealt with long deployments of their spouses going to Afghanistan. And I've talked to military spouses that were that they just became military spouses. So different stories, different voices that all need to feel understood and seen.
Well, what you're saying sounds familiar to me. My friend Shannon is frequently on the show. We went to law school together, and she's one woman trying to heal the community by herself because there's so much division in opinions about politics and religion and everything that you can think of. People are isolating themselves because they don't want to have conversations about something where they know that there's going to be a disagreement. And so I don't think it's unique to military spouses or anyone in particular that it's hard to make friends.
In general, as an adult.
Right.
But as a military spouse, I feel like it's 10 times worse, only because we move around every 2 to 3 years.
Right, I can see that.
And so we have to start our village every 2 to 3 years. And sometimes we don't even get the chance to do so, because once we do, we already have about 6 months left. And so now we have to start all over again.
Right. Interesting. I bet that's hard. So you went to University of Central Florida. How has your experience there and your background shaped the community that you want to build?
Oh, yeah. So my background definitely shaped it because I've always had that entrepreneurial mindset. So if there's a gap, I want to fill it. So I understood, and I was part of that gap, to where I didn't necessarily have enough friends or didn't know how to make friends. I felt isolated and alone, and I didn't have that space to feel comfortable, seen, and understood. And so I decided to make Base Buddies based on my personal feelings and feelings that I knew were shared all across this community.
They say that necessity is the mother of invention.
Oh, yeah. So this was definitely a necessity.
Cool. So for brand new military spouses right now who are feeling overwhelmed, what's the one piece of advice that you could give as someone who experienced that yourself?
I would personally say that you're not behind. You're right where you're supposed to be. Nobody has everything figured out right now, meaning that you have time to figure yourself out. Also, once you do, keep moving forward and stay steadfast, because everything does get better.
Okay. So we're on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word. Also in Houston, KNTH 1070 and 103.3 FM. We're talking with Ley Wright, who put together an organization, a community, a podcast called Base Buddies. You can find her on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere. So like and subscribe. Tell us a little bit about your mission for listeners who are just discovering you. What's your core mission and how did it grow from a podcast to a full support system?
Yeah, so the core mission of Base Buddies is connection, community, and support. It started as a podcast, but it has grown into something so much bigger. It's grown into a space to where, like I've said before, military spouses feel seen, heard, and understood, and are comfortable enough to share that story. And within military spouses sharing that story, so many military spouses that haven't feel connected. And they all connect via shared commonality.
And so you do that through one-on-one interviews.
Yes.
Is there a platform where there's conversations being had outside of the podcast?
No. no conversations being had outside of the podcast, at least not that I know of. I personally have conversations one-on-one with my military spouses. And of course, off camera, I talk to a lot of military spouses that want to share their story but don't want to air it out, if that makes any sense.
I have met some of those myself. I meet people that have amazing legacies that they don't want to share, and it just breaks my heart. Okay. Yeah. So what kind of real friendships and connections are happening that spouses weren't finding anywhere else?
Yeah, so I've seen many military spouses connect over like their shared stories, such as PCS moves. They've connected over moving to the same base, going through the same things. I've personally seen a connection firsthand. I interviewed one of my really close friends, Michaela, and another military spouse found or watched that episode and reached out to her, and now they're really good friends.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and she's on a different part of the world, and I think that's just beautiful because that's the point of Base Buddies, is to connect everybody.
Right. Well, if you want to call Ley right now and ask her some questions about how to connect and how to navigate being a military spouse, you can call. This is Saturday. What is today? The 21st of March, 2026. Call 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867, or post a comment on Facebook Live right now. Ley, how exactly does Base Buddies help families feel seen, heard, and less alone?
So it helps by normalizing the experience. So when you hear about somebody struggling to make friends or losing their sense of identity, or starting over again, you realize it's not just you. And so you realize, oh, okay, so this isn't just me. I have so many other people experiencing the same thing. So normalizing that experience that can sometimes make you feel isolated.
Yeah, that's a great idea, and you can share ideas together.
Exactly.
Since you're right here in San Antonio and so many families at Joint Base San Antonio, have you seen a strong response from your in-person community?
Yeah, so we're actually still growing. I've met up and I've talked to many military spouses here in San Antonio, and they're lovely. But I've also had the pleasure of speaking to spouses all around the world, like Japan, South Korea, the UK. But as of right now, we're still growing. But yes.
Cool. So if you want to help Ley Wright grow Base Buddies, find her on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Where else?
All platforms.
All platforms. Or what's the website?
It's base-buddies.com.
base-buddies.com. We're going to be talking about Sinners and Saints and Legacy 2. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.